What up? It's your boy, the Incredible Man. Yes, I'm back at it again, and this is Black Clover episode 116, and I'm super sorry that it's late, but I had some stuff to do today, and it took a lot longer than I thought. But this episode, man, it was so wonderful, and like I constantly say, man, all those people that gave up on Black Clover, you're missing out, man, because this, oh boy, this episode was wonderful. Now, I'm going to be honest. It wasn't like super action packed or like really heavy on the story progression wise side of it, of everything, but it was just an overall good episode. They gave us a little bit of everything, and then, like next week's episode is going to really kick off the fight between Charlotte, Yami, and the Akuma. But what I'm saying, man, is like this episode, it didn't really give us a major fight, but we had the nice fight between Patry and Nozzle, which, let's be real, man, Nozzle wasn't on my list, but like I said in a couple previous episodes, Nozzle is definitely on my list now because I find out that he's a doting big brother to Noelle, and he really cared for her, and he's a wonderful captain. And now that I learned more about his character and his character development throughout the show, Nozzle is definitely on my list of high-ranking Black Clover characters, and I love this dude, man. And seeing him go all out and all in his fight, and that was just only, let's be real, that was only a fraction of his power, and it was nice to see him just do that and get us involved in that whole little thing with Nozzle doing that. But now, like I said at the beginning of this video, it wasn't too much going on story progression, or like it wasn't super action packed. The animation was nice in certain scenes, like I said last week. But to me, I feel like I could tell definitely where the animation went this episode, and that was in the whole transition between Asta and Patry's mind when he went in there to save him, and then part of the fight between Patry, Asta, and and Patry and Nozzle. And I know that's where the animation went, but like I said last time, the characters still look good. The characters still look very, very good. But like, when they panned out sometimes, Raya looked a little off, and Mimosa looked a little off, and Patry looked, and Nozzle, like from far off shots, they looked a little off. I'm not complaining, I'm just stating some stuff that happened this episode. But like when they done the close-up shots with Asta, Nozzle, everyone, they were very, very nice and done very, very well. Now, this episode was wonderful, man. We got to see the little continuation of the fight between Asta, Patry, and and Asta lost the black form. He's tired, man. Asta's been fighting ever since this arc started. Asta's been fighting, and it's kind of like it's been days and weeks and everything for us, but for them it's been a couple days. So Asta's been fighting this whole time, even before he even made it to the actual Clover Kingdom himself. He's been fighting out on the outskirts and inside the raid. Asta's been fighting this whole time. He's not the only one. A lot of them been fighting this whole time, but they recuperated a little bit with Charmy and with Mimosa healing Asta, his wounds healed and everything. But they've been fighting constantly and nonstop. So we knew Asta was going to be tired, and we knew he can hold up the black farm. And for my manga readers, we knew this. But to see him lose the form I just love seeing him and companionship and little brotherly bonds that they always throw up. And like, because when Asta was finna fall, was like, Asta, and he caught him with his wind magic. So it's nice to always see that on screen. Now, the fight finished with them, and then we see Nozzle coming in, and we got flashes of seeing Nozzle and Yami kind of sensing a strong presence. So they both went in different ways, and we don't see where Yami went until like the end of the episode. So Nozzle comes there to help Asta and and we have this whole thing where he just, oh, okay, well, see, now I'm going to kill you, because then he starts playing all of this stuff, going back in his mind about Patry actually taking oh man, I know his name. Oh, Fuegolan's arm. From him taking his arm, and he was just going through some things. And then they gave us a little narration of Nozzle's magic actually being the best magic to take on any situation. But he stated himself that he has a hard time with Fuegolan because of the flame, and his mercury could probably maybe melted a little bit, I don't know. But they kind of went into that whole explanation about Nozel's powers, and we've seen it in various situations where it was very useful in a ton of situations, and it just dove into that more this episode when he was fighting Patry with this dark light magic. And that's what I'm saying. Nozel was, dude is so cool. Dude is a cool character, and after his fight with Patry and he detained him and everything, he was like, Asta, and was it? I'm gonna be the Wizard King. And I was like, and then Asta and was like, no, well, was like, well, no, I'm gonna be the Wizard King. And Asta was like, no, it's gonna be me. It's gonna be me. So I love to see that now we have another rivalry for Asta to become, or to become Wizard King with Fuegolan and Nozel now. So there's plenty of people that wants to be Wizard King. So it was nice to throw Nozel into the mix. And let's be real, Nozel would make a pretty decent Wizard King, because now, like I said before, I now know that he's a wonderful character, and seeing his character development, I think he's going to be a great character, and he would make a wonderful Wizard King. But now, getting back to the episode, and now he was to the point to where he was going to kill Patry because of what he done to the kingdom, what he done to him releasing chaos into the whole everything and hurting Fuegolan. It was a lot of stuff going on through Nozel, and he had pretty valid reasons of why he wanted to kill Patry, but we all knew that Patry was vengeance at the same time, and told that to Nozel. He didn't buy it at first, but then Asta was like, well, you're not going to listen to us? Did you not just hear everything we said? And they gave the explanation, and he was like, well, okay, we'll see. And then, was stating that Asta could probably save him. And that's when this whole episode went different for me. And like I said, it wasn't a lot going on, but the stuff that did happen was such wonderful scenes and everything, because it was like a conclusion of the fight with Patry, and we got to see the parallels between the humans and the elves as well, and us seeing that, it was just circumstances that messed them up, because in that whole time, there were good people, there were good humans, like that at that point, that Wizard King and Lick's actual wife. They were good humans, but they were confused and tricked as well by the Akuma. And so there's a whole bunch of circumstances going on. But it was nice to see that they have very similar similarities, and Asta laid that out for Patry. But let's talk about the whole transition of Asta actually going into Patry's mind and subconscious to pull him out. Dude, it was so beautiful. It was absolutely wonderful. It went from like a purplish, it was like a bluish gray first, like a dark gray bluish color, and then it went to like the purple, and you can see all of the hate, and that's what the bluish gray color was, and then the purple was the sadness. So it was nice for them to have two distinct colors and show how each emotion was going, and we can tell it was so hardcore because it was affecting Asta while he was inside. Dude, it was so crazy, and that was so good. That's what I'm saying, man. People that gave up on Black Clover, you guys are missing out, man. Let's just be real. And when he got in there, and this whole speech that he was talking to Patry about was wonderful. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when Asta stated that, just because all this other stuff happened and you were tricked and you weren't the chosen one, you can't give up. You have to end this guy that tricked you and put all this stuff in motion. End him. So it was nice to see Asta lay that out, and he was trying to like, oh, who decide, and what do you know about it, human, and everything else. And Asta didn't give up. Asta never gave up. He never had any magic. And when he went to get his selection for his book and everything, he still didn't have any magic, but he never gave up. He got a book. Well, he got chosen a grimoire, and he's connected to the anti-magic. So there's a lot going on, but that only happened because he never gave up. So in the end, he ended up saving Patry, and when he pulled him out of it, he still had the one eye that was black, and so he still has kind of tapped into that power a little bit. And then, wow, the whole scene with I'm sorry, because it was, like I said, it wasn't a lot going on, but everything that we got was just so wonderful, man. Then we also see Raya apologizing because he was like, if I had said something sooner. But then he also realizes that he's dying now, and Mimosa starts to heal him, and he looks over and he's like, why are you saving me? And Mimosa said something so wonderful. Do I need a reason to save someone that's dying in front of me, whether they're an enemy or they're on my side? and and in that moment, Raya got a flashback, and she kind of looked like the former Wizard King's sister that was married to Lick. So I mean, we know all the royals are descendants. They're just all descendants, but there's just different houses and stuff. But it's crazy, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, now we're getting to the point to where the elves and the humans are kind of understanding each other a little bit, and the hate that they have is all fake hate brought upon by the Akaba. Now, this is where it got interesting. Then we get to see the Akama trying to leave, but Lick is not having that, and he's not fully himself yet. Excuse me. He's not fully himself yet. He's still recuperating a little bit from the resurrection, but he's putting up a fight, stopping this dude. But then his word soul, man, that is so cool, man. That word soul magic is boss, man. Too bad he's a true bad guy, but that word soul magic is so awesome, man. And that whole fight is going on, and at that time he kind of gets the better of Lick because he's still recuperating and he doesn't have all of his swords because Asta has the other two. And then in that moment, the chick that's taking over Charlotte's body, and she comes in and saves him, and Yami enters, and then next week is going to be boss, man. But what I loved about the ending with Yami was, she was like, "Why are you here, human?" And he was like, "Well, you take care of that body first of all." And he was like, "Well, I don't need a reason because we can obviously tell that this is a bad guy. This is obviously a bad guy, man." And that's how this episode ends. And I loved it. And I know next week is going to come hardcore, man. And come check out my other channel, Nothing Entertainment 3, because I'm dropping the opening reaction to which is opening 10 and the ending, which is opening 10 on that channel. So come check that out and come smash that like button so you can't smash it anymore, man. This is your boy Dick Incredible, and that's everything that happened this episode, man. So I think that's it. Yeah, that's everything. Don't forget to smash that like button until you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them, and subscribe. But only if you really want to, man. And remember that anime matters, anime is greatness, and anime is life. Peace out, man.